Dirt, Dan Hurley, Lakers. Big story of the morning.
It is a very big story in the morning.
What was your first thought? What's your thought right now?
Genuine surprise, because when there's that much smoke around another name and it's getting widely reported, it just feels like it's going to happen. JJ Reddick was on a podcast yesterday, I think with the Golics, and they asked him about the rumors in the Laker job, and he said, look, my focus is on the NBA Finals. He's getting ready to call Game 1 tonight, and then added, I'll address that stuff when the season is over, which basically signaled to me that, he's just waiting for the finals to be over. He wants to be respectful of Dallas and Boston. He's on the call, and then you get through it, and then the day after the finals is done, you're going to get the announcement that JJ Reddick has been hired. So it was an initial just surprise that Hurley was or appears to be the guy. My reaction, though, on top of that is not much different than what it was with JJ Reddick. Are they going to fix their managerial problems? Are they going to fix the front office? Because if they don't, I'm of the belief in the NBA that I don't care how good of a coach you are at whatever level you win at. It does not matter. What matters in the NBA is roster construction and talent. And yes, coaching can put a team over the top if you're evenly matched, but their issues are still there. I agree with Swag's overall sentiment that this is kind of a looking to the future. LeBron's maybe got a year or two left, and we want to set ourselves up past that. But if Rob Pelinka doesn't pull his head out of his ass, I don't care who the hell you hire. You could hire the best coach of all time. They're not winning with that roster.
Here was Brian Windhorst. Woj had the report, Brian Windhorst, on Dan Hurley potentially being the Laker coach.
I think the Lakers were under the amount of candidates were available with NBA experience. There's not a great set of candidates available. And the Lakers, I think, were going into this process knowing that they were going to have to maybe take an aggressive chance, and they were also potentially going to have to look outside the box a little bit. And, frankly, some of their candidates, JJ Reddick included, that's an outside-the-box move, but an unproven option. And so the fact that they would go after an out-of-the-box candidate like Dan Hurley is it's surprising, but it's not stunning. Well, I think the stunning thing is that Dan Hurley would seriously consider taking this job. And I think that, if he is, and, this is not a done deal by any means, but if he is seriously consider taking it, I think it's a indication of, the landscape in college basketball right now.
So there's Wendy on ESPN Radio.
I've seen that. I saw a tweet earlier today. It was like, basically, what does it mean for college athletics if they lose their national champion in football and their national champion in basketball in the same year? And I am not here to defend the landscape. I am not here to say that everything is working wonderfully. This notion, though, that all of a sudden coaches are now leaving, like, this has been the case forever. Rick Pitino was a dominant college basketball coach. What did he do?
He left.
Nick Saban was a dominant college football coach. What did he do?
He left.
Chip Kelly, what did he do?
He left.
Go down the list.
Mike Riley.
What
did he do?
He went to the NFL. Like, you could go down. Guys will always want to go to the pros. Like, I'm not here to defend the landscape of college athletics because, yes, it is discombobulated and to some very broken.
Yeah.
But I hate that all of us, out of nowhere, Jim Harbaugh's had already left college for the NFL once in his career.
He did it twice.
College athletics broken in 2010 when he left Stanford. No, he wanted to go coach in the NFL. And I don't read this as Dan Hurley's running away from the landscape of NIL. He just won another national title. They were likely to be the favorites to win a third straight. He's set up for success. They have money. They have facilities. They have everything they need. That is a blue blood of the sport. This, to me, is maybe they're throwing an insane amount of money at him. The Lakers are. And he's probably always had in the back of his mind the thought of, I want to win an NBA championship.
Well, if you pay attention to the phrasing that you hear today, one thing that's sticking out pretty obviously to me is the term program.
Program.
There's a lot of they like the Dan Hurley program. And to me, I read that as to what we talked about a little bit yesterday and you just brought up. I don't trust Rob Pelinka as far as I can throw him.
No.
I think you're hiring Dan Hurley. What you're kind of also doing is saying Dan's having a massive say in the talent. Dan Hurley is already a recruiter. Dan Hurley has to look around the landscape of the portal and identify the next wave of UConn talent. Dan Hurley is absolutely taking this job, I think, with tremendous amount of power and say in the personnel because they're hiring him in part because of the second apron stuff. It's fascinating to watch these teams, the Lakers, right? One of the biggest brands in sports. They are prepared financially to say, How do we win in the margins? I heard, I think it was Damian Woody. The Lakers lost in 5 games to the Nuggets by like a combined 11 points. They're close, but in the margins, they couldn't quite do it. LeBron had a good series. AD, a good series.
Mm-hmm.
But you lose on a buzzer beater. You lose by 4. Your role guys don't play well. Those are the areas that the Dan Hurleys of the world, at least to the Lakers, are going to have to really succeed and thrive in, because if you can, it's a way to kind of circumvent this second apron situation that a lot of teams are going to find themselves in.
Denver included.
Denver included as well. And my other takeaway is Wendy reported this morning on Get Up. Everybody's like, oh, the Lakers are going past LeBron and they're looking to the future. And you guys are right to say that. But he said LeBron has also been a part of that. LeBron is basically like, yeah, life without me is coming rather soon.
Yeah.
This dude who the tweet with JJ Reddick has been brought up. He really likes what he is. Now, is he going to butt heads with him? I mean, Dan Hurley's a fiery East Coast guy and LeBron is LeBron. Of course they're going to butt heads. But all of the intel so far sounds like the Lakers are thinking about how to develop the in-between talent, find that talent, and LeBron kind of partnering saying, this dude knows what the hell he's doing with X's and O's.
I mean, to that point, if I'm Dan Hurley, I'm not taking the job unless I get a significant say in player acquisition and drafting
that
and
also,
all of that.
Yeah.
A long guarantee, like 6 years guaranteed.
I mean, we gave Chauncey 5 years guaranteed. And he never coached a game.
He might get more than that.
Give the guy a decade, man.
I just don't think this is going to be. I don't think this is going to be a traditional hire. Like, I know it's easy for everybody to say, well, we'll see, Sprague, but I don't think this is a Lakers don't win the title, he's fired next year. Lakers don't win the title year 2, he's fired. I think this is legitimately going to be them investing and saying, we're going to play the long game here, and hopefully we can capitalize while we still have LeBron, but we also have AD, who I believe is 30, 31.
Sounds about right.
Maybe 29. He's somewhere in that wheelhouse. Those are a decent amount of years left. We're going to try to play the long game here.
31.
Build out our roster and trust what Dan Hurley established in Stores, Connecticut.
I mean, I can't wait for Dan Hurley to bump AD in the chest while screaming in his face in the middle of a game.
Yeah, he's definitely that kind of
Stop being
personality.
so soft! He just
hope he doesn't hurt AD when he does.
Veins popping out of his neck. It's going to be a spectacle, that's for sure. It's also going to be hilarious. Like, if Woj throws his name behind it, I'm of the belief Woj is not doing this unless it's going to happen. With his credibility at stake, so I didn't really quite have that same level of respect for Shams. And remember, he got into some hot water last year for the NBA draft.
I told you, it's an 80% hit rate with Shams when he sends something out.
It is. Woj has a higher clip rate, so I am of the belief that this will happen, but it also would be hilarious if this was all just leaked, day of the NBA Finals, smoke screen, and Dan Hurley doesn't go anywhere. That would make me laugh as well.
Dan Hurley appears to be the Los Angeles Lakers guy. Woj breaking the news this morning that they are targeting him.
Zoning in, zeroing in.
Yeah, I would have loved him to troll Shams like that. Shams, by the way, also jumping in on this. Yeah, my sources are also saying it.
Hey, by the way, I just got a text from my sources.
Did you?
Also confirming they're close. Not official yet.
What yard line are we on?
I'd say the 3-yard line.
We're on the 3.
3-yard line. We're getting close. My sources say 3-yard line, one more run. It's probably in the end zone.
3-yard line, 2 plays. You have a timeout. Do you run both plays or do you throw one?
Run both plays.
I throw on the first play.
Interesting.
Okay, Malcolm Butler. Careful.
Random poll question. The Lakers are reportedly on the 3-yard line. You have 2 plays, 1 timeout. Do you run both or do you pass one?
Just a way to tie this back into football.
That's what we do.